Hello, and welcome to Treehouse Chatter. No, not the show you might be thinking about, but a brand new show in which I, your host, Christopher Johnson, will interview people within the world of film and the arts. Hello, everyone. I'm sitting here with Ben Tissell. Ben, why don't you tell us what you do?
Cool. Okay. So I am actor, director, and sometimes writer for stage and film in the Portland area.
When did you fall in love with acting and?
When I was a kid, my siblings all did like their shows at their high school, like the theater stuff, like musicals, and I would go see them, and I didn't. I was like, kind of wanted to be different. I'm the youngest of 4 kids, and so I was really kind of rebellious, and I was like, they did theater, I'm never doing theater. And when I get to high school, there's no way I'm doing theater. But then when I was in 5th grade, I got invited to be in a play, to play young Scrooge in A Christmas Carol. And I did it, and I was like, I'm going to do this all the time. And so I did a lot of stuff in Portland with Northwest Children's Theater when I was a kid. And I did school shows. And then I ended up majoring in theater in college. And that's kind of how it all happened.
So you got into it then through school and those other avenues.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, like, I did. I got, like, it kind of, like, school shows was, like, the fuel on the fire. I did, like, every show ever and was a terrible student because I was always in the theater. But like, I don't know what got me about it. The first show I ever did, like, I just loved the process. I think that's kind of the thing for me. I've always just loved the process of like rehearsal and acting with other people and building this thing together, and I love that.
And so you've also done some film acting as well.
Yeah, so I've done some of that. I started doing that in college with our schools, like I went to George Fox University.
Yes.
And our school's film program. So I've started doing some stuff with them, and then I did stuff for Backyard, and I've done a couple other things here and there. It's been like really super fun. I feel like the first time that I was doing like a film, the first many times that I was doing any sort of film thing, I was like, I don't know what to do with the camera in my face. Like, I don't know how to be normal because I was used to being on stage. It's very different. Acting for a camera is very different than acting for. Some people think it's the same, but I don't understand them because I think it's very different.
What has been your favorite acting role?
All of them. No, that's not true. There's been some I really hated. So my favorites were probably. I had probably the most fun when I played George Bailey in It's a Wonderful Life. That was really, really fun. So that was one of them. I got to play Father Flynn in Doubt, which is just an incredible character. I loved that experience. Algernon Moncrief in The Importance of Being Earnest, which was really, really fun because normally I get put as like not so much the straight man, but as like the romantic lead or whatever. And Algernon is like he's like the wild child in that show. He's like one of the 2 male leads, but he's like the one that's like super womanizing and super like he's just like a bad dude, but you love him because he's charming and funny. And so like it was fun to play something different. So anyway, those are some of my favorites.
What out of any role, what would be your dream role?
So like all the like big Shakespeare leads, like Macbeth, Richard. When I'm really old, I want to do Lear. Like Hamlet would be fun just to say I've done it. But really, like all those like really
the major ones.
Henry would be really fun.
Yeah. Like
those heady roles would be so. Benedict, I'd want to do Benedict. That'd be so cool. So all the Shakespeare roles. I want to do all the Shakespeare roles. I've always so when I was a kid, I don't know, when I was in high school, my dream role was to play Alfred Doolittle in My Fair Lady, and then I did when I was a junior in high school. So I've actually had no motivation in my life since then. That's not true. But I guess so. It's taken me like years to come up with another like dream role.
Yeah.
But I really would like to play Tevye one day when I'm old enough. Yeah, in Fiddler on the Roof.
How would you define what a good actor does?
Okay, so what does a good actor do?
Well, I often tell actors this when I'm working with them, like as a director. I'm like, when they're really when they just need to know that it's okay for them to like be figuring out what like the character and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'll always say like it's okay. You have a hard job. Your job is to feel on stage, and like I think that's very true. Like an actor gets up in front of people and feels very human emotions and has very like honest human interactions in front of a room full of people as if they're not there, and that takes incredible courage and vulnerability. Same thing on screen. Like there's a camera in your face, and you are choosing to feel real, like what would be usually considered private human emotions for anyone who might watch, and you have like no control over who is watching. So I think a good actor is one that has sort of the courage to do that well, and also just sort of like the sense of self enough to go like, I'm gonna get up here and do this in an authentic way, and know that I'm gonna be okay even if people don't receive it well, or no matter what happens. I know that I'm gonna be okay. It doesn't affect the core of like my sense of self. So I think that's huge. But ultimately, I think an actor's job is to sort of reach into you and make you feel things. Like, sometimes things you don't want to feel, and sometimes things you do. Like, whether it's comedy or drama, their job is to reach inside.
There's always something that, What are some things you're working on right now? Are you getting into?
So I have a show that I just directed that is currently running. Uncle Vanya by Anton Chekhov. It's like a old 100-year-old classic piece of Russian theater.
Interesting.
And it's really fun. It's a good show. And that's going really well, getting a lot of good reviews and stuff. And then this summer, I'm jumping into playing Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar in Portland.
Interesting.
Which is actually a musical I kind of hate. Yeah. But it'll be a fun experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
another different role to
that'll be good.
to fit in.
And then there's a couple different musicals that I'm currently in, like callbacks. The callbacks part of the process for. So I might do one or two of those. So that's kind of what I'm doing theater-wise right now. Acting-wise, rather.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have any film projects on the horizon, acting-wise. But trying to keep my chops up with some theater-y things.
It's cool that you do both, and it makes each thing better.
Yeah. I think the basic principles are the same, like learning how to emote in a genuine way.
Yeah.
I think that translates. It's just the technique is what changes film to theater.
Right.
But the core of it, I think, is the same.
So that there's this realness that somebody can actually. I totally get what you're feeling.
Yeah, and if you watch, like, if you go on the YouTube channel, Backyard YouTube channel, doing the Spy Academy.
Yeah.
Who did I play? Patrick. And you watch like some of my first things to like some of my more recent. I'm not saying it, like I don't think the more recent stuff is like amazing performances by any means from me. But I think that like if you watch it, you can be like, oh, he's starting to get the hang of how this works on the camera. Because with the first time that camera was in my face, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
A little bit tense.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how to make that camera feel what I'm feeling.
What would you tell somebody who's looking into acting? What would you like for both?
Oh, I will say that probably the best thing you can do to become a good performing artist is to become a good human. Like the more I like become, I don't know, rooted in myself and sort of like just sort of become a whole and healthy person, the more I am able to give good performances. And when I'm not in that really good place, then what happens is I sort of hang myself, like my sense of self-worth, on that performance. And when that's in your way, when that's like a roadblock in your mind, and you will never be able to get the performance you want. So I would say it's not just about getting good technique, it's about becoming and being a healthy person. Also, this is true, I think, of all artists. You have to care about something more than what you're creating. You have to, because if that's the thing, then first of all, you lose touch with real life, and nobody wants to see your art. And secondly, you just can't yeah, you don't have sort of a deeper well to draw from of like a human experience and
It's pretty.
soul and all that. Yeah, so I think that's huge. Like you gotta care about something, whether it's your family, whether it's whatever. Like you've got to care about at least one thing more than you care about whatever you're creating.
So you also do some music related things.
I do a lot of that, as well as the acting sort of things. So for like 5 or so years, I've been writing, recording, and performing my own music around town. Have several shows a month. Try to release an album every year. It's really fun. I have really grown in my ability to write songs, perform songs, and my ability to sort of record and mix music and stuff. So that's been a really cool experience.
I bet that, again, the performing in front of people plays into your acting, and it all kind of makes you more comfortable with people.
Yeah, so like performing as myself, as a musician, and letting that become a really real and genuine, kind of vulnerable performance has really helped me when then I take on a character to let it become more human, more real, more believable. So that's been really cool.
Yeah.
I also just I don't know. There are a lot of things about the songwriting process that sort of help me kind of understand my own voice as an artist. That sounds so like hipster, like my voice as an artist, but
it makes
I mean
sense.
it, yeah. And so like it's helped me like understand like how I do things. And so it helps with my on camera and on stage kind of work too.
So you have an album out now, or something coming?
Yeah, I have several albums out. One probably be recording another one later this fall. But people can find them on iTunes or on my website, benjamintissell.com.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, thanks for being here.
Totally, yeah.
And good luck with all of
thanks.
escapades.
Hey, thanks. I'm going to escapade all over the place.